All right, so welcome everybody. Please make yourselves comfortable. If it feels good to lie down, that's where we're going to start our practice. So feel free to just come into a place, a position of comfort where you can relax, connect a little bit here. Our goal during this short meditation is really just to come into that place of presence. Tuning in to that parasympathetic state. Here we are. Okay. So if you're just joining, lying down on your spine, if you're comfortable, having some props handy, maybe a couple of blocks, maybe a firm cushion or a bolster or a rolled up blanket to use. So as we settle into a relaxed posture here, just begin to notice your breath. Try to allow our breath to just be the primary point of focus. Watching it, observing it without manipulating it just yet, just being aware that sensing it. Hearing it, feeling it, following with your mind's eye the pattern and the direction of your breath. Just being the observer here of our natural automatic breath. Allow yourself to be breathed. So continue to lean into this moment, arriving here, letting everything else go. Thoughts of what's come to pass today or earlier in your weekend, and thoughts of what's to come this evening or the week ahead. Just let it take a back seat for now. Slowing the momentum of your day. Allow yourself to be here in this perfect moment. So now just begin to deepen your inhale, add a little bit of intention. No need to strain or challenge yourself, just adding a bit of intention, inhaling with a bit of purpose. Sorry, Anne, I just looked over there. You're not hearing me? Okay, I'm not sure. It doesn't show that I'm mute here. I'm gonna just mute again. Can you hear me now? No? No sound. Okay.
I can hear you, but very faintly. Like
Okay.
you're far from the microphone, maybe?
Okay, I'm gonna turn that volume right up. Oh, it's right up, and I'll speak a little bit louder.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So it's not blocked or anything there. Good, so settling in to those deeper breaths now. Inhaling love for yourself. Exhaling, letting go of anything that's a little bit heavy. Anything that you don't need to carry. Think of filling up with positive energy on your inhales. Releasing anything negative with your exhales. A few more deep breaths just like these. Just experience that taking, that sense of the taking of your inhale, the balance of the giving of your exhale. That balance of giving and receiving, that balance of loving and being loved, the balance of filling up and releasing. And then when you're ready, just allow your breath to resume its natural pace. Check in with the state of the body and the mind. Letting go of areas of tension in your physical body, maybe around the eyes and the jaw, softening the neck, shoulders, belly, palms of the hands. And emotionally, just letting go of any negativity from the past, letting go of worry, what's to come, being here in this present moment. Give yourself permission to fully land here in this space, making the most of this experience right now, this inhale and this exhale, the gift of breath that you have right now. And if you notice the mind is wandering, the mind's busy or noisy, no need to judge what you're thinking, but you can just simply observe it, allow those thoughts to pass on by. They have their chance to be seen and honored, and then they just float away. Engage with them later. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice tonight, to carry with you on the mat, to carry with you off the mat, you can go ahead and do that now. Maybe it's a thought to an experience or an emotion that you would like to cultivate a little more of in your life. Bringing that to mind, connecting there. Take a big breath in. Just release anything that's lingering with your exhale. Let's reach our arms overhead, taking in another big breath. Reach and stretch and lengthen. Sigh it out if you want with your exhale and just soften onto your mat. And from here, let's begin just to move the head side to side, taking your right ear towards your right shoulder or the mat, and then your left ear over towards the left. Just pressing down a little bit so you're feeling a little bit of a stretch. We're not forcing anything. And just respecting too that this might feel different side to side, right to left. And then just bring that upper spine, your neck, cervical spine back to neutral. Let's draw the knees in for a hug. Check in with your low back, and it might feel nice to add a little rock side to side. We'll hold the right knee in, let the left leg just soften onto the mat, either lengthened or wherever it feels most restful. You can either lengthen it or bend the left knee and settle the left foot to the mat. Draw your right knee in really snugly, using a little bit of arm strength here. Rotate through your right ankle as you do that. And just breathe into any tension that you might be experiencing in that right hip flexor. Keep with your breath. And then find stillness. From here, we're just going to take some pulses, lengthening the leg up with the inhale. Doesn't need to be completely straight with your exhale. Just keep that clasp of the fingers, pull them around your shin, draw your knee in. And then inhale, lengthen, exhale. Draw it in, moving with your breath. The next time we lengthen our leg, let's just keep the sole of the foot facing the sky, leg lengthened. Any amount of bend is fine in the knee. You don't have to have the leg completely straight. And you can support behind the calf or the thigh with your hands and point and flex through your right ankle. Working into your hamstring. And then bend your knee, take it wide, right hand to right knee, opening up. Inner thigh, outer hip. So you're not rolling over just onto that right hip, trying to keep the left hip grounded too, maybe pressing left hand into left hip point. You can find movement if you like, or just hold in stillness. As I hope you do in all of your yoga practices, just feel free to explore within any posture. You might find that there's a different variation that suits you better, or maybe movement feels good, stillness. We're going to come into a twist now. So first, bring the knee back to center. And I like to bump my hips a little bit to the right, but shifting them to the right as we lower that right knee over to the left. Gentler version, maybe placing a block underneath that inner right knee. Look over your right shoulder if it suits your neck. And some deep breaths here. And just roll back so your full spine is lengthened onto the mat. Bend your left knee if it's not already bent. And we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee. Press the right knee open and away from you. And then maybe you come into reclined pigeon here. So maybe drawing the left knee towards you. Press that right knee away from you with your right elbow. To the degree that feels good. Getting into the hip. Maybe adding a little rock here if that feels good. You don't have to. It's something you might want to try. Couple more full breaths. Let's release, let that right leg just come to rest anywhere on your mat and draw your left knee in. So right leg can be long or you can bend the knee. Interlace your fingers, place them around your left shin, draw the knee to the side ribs and up towards your shoulder. Rotate through your left ankle a few times in each direction. And then let's have another final squeeze here. Exhale. Inhale, find a little length in the leg. And then exhale, bend the knee, draw it in once more. Let's try that a few times. Lengthening and bending left leg. Staying with the breath. Last little squeeze in, and then we'll lengthen the leg up towards the sky, pointing and flexing through that left ankle. Drawing the leg towards you, keeping a nice long spine. So you might tuck your chin a little bit, and then just imagine that length from your crown to your tailbone. Sacrum still grounded here. And let's find that bend in the left knee, left hand to the left knee. Draw it wide, opening up. Maybe movement, maybe stillness. I encourage you just to explore a little bit so you find what's best. Just always noticing how our bodies are landing in different postures. Get set to come into our twist. So draw your knee back to center and then decide if you want to bump your hip a little bit to the left as you draw your left knee over to the right. Maybe using some props here, a block underneath the inner knee. Looking over your left shoulder and just trying to move that left shoulder blade to ground. It's fine if it's not grounded, just moving it in that direction and the knee in the opposite direction. And deep breaths. Preparing to unwind, bring your gaze back to neutral first and then bring the hips back. Center the hips under the shoulders, spinning both of the knees, and then let's cross left ankle over right knee. Take a breath here just as you hold, pressing your left knee away from you. And then you might choose to stay or you might come to your reclined pigeon. Drawing right knee towards you, interlacing fingers behind your thigh, maybe around your shin, or just grabbing onto that thigh. Staying with the breath. Maybe the eyes are still closed, just really feeling into the needs of the body in your practice tonight. Another big breath in. Full exhale. We'll release the cross there. Let's bring our shins parallel to the mat and knees above the hips. Arms long at your sides. And then we'll just start to lengthen opposite legs. Right leg lengthens and lowers down to hover, and then bend the knee, bring it back in. Left leg, same thing. Just kind of moving through a bicycle motion, but we're going to keep our knees from coming too close to our torso. So keep the knees just above the hips. Try not to bring them too close to the belly. Circles. Just check in with your low back. Press it down into the mat. We'll do about 3 more each side. And then bring the knees in for a hug. A rock if you want. You can keep the knees close together, or you can take them wide. And we're going to find a seated posture. So you can roll to one side and press up. You can rock a few times. Maybe up to a seat. So a little bit of a nice stretch. Finding a nice place to land. Sit bones connected to something, your mat, or a bolster, or block. And then just soften your shoulders away from your ears. Maybe close your eyes here so you really feel into the stretches. And just just tilt your head to the right so that right ear's a little closer to your right shoulder. This feels good. You can stay here. You can extend your left arm out. Fingertips can point up, really flex them back if you want. Or you can just keep them neutral or reaching down to touch the ground. Soften your hand back to your lap, roll the head forward, and then the left ear will make its way to the left shoulder. And then your right arm might extend. Bring the shoulders even, parallel to the earth. any neck movement here that feels like it might benefit you. It could be neck rolls, it could be gazing up and then down, right and then left. Could be interlacing your fingers, tucking your chin, just opening up the back of the neck that way. And spend a couple more breaths. And then just come back to that neutral spine. Let's send our legs forward, at least the right leg lengthen, and then bend the left knee. Take a forward fold. Again, just find that connection, sit bones to the mat. And then just walk your way forward. Any amount, finding some length in the spine. And then if you feel you want to make it a little more passive, sort of nice and a calm class, and you can just round the spine when you found as much length as possible. Then just round the spine, maybe drape the head. Take a couple of breaths. Noticing where you're feeling this. I sort of identify a stretch in my low back. Some people feel more of a hamstring stretch here. Slowly walk your way up. And then let's take our left hand, just place it behind our left hip. And then take a side body stretch here. Sweep the right arm up. Maybe you raise the hips and come up onto your right foot and left shin. Take a big stretch. Breathe in. Breathe out. Another full inhale and exhale. And then set the hips down. And we'll just lift the left knee. We're going to come into a twist so you can keep the leg as it is, or you can cross that left foot, cross your right thigh. And then we're going to twist to the left. So that right crook of your arm there might cradle your left knee. Get nice and tall in your spine. Twist. So hip and spine here again, noticing where you feel this. Hug it in, you might feel a nice compression there, some more in the outer hip. Take your elbow to your outer thigh, you might have more of a sensation of spinal twist. It's really up to you. And then unwind. Go through that sequence on the other side. So left leg will reach long. Right sole of the foot to the inner left thigh. And then just find that long spine, grounding down through the sit bones and walk your hands forward. So finding your length first, and then maybe draping if you wish. And slowly release. Back up, and we'll take that side body stretch. So right hand, right hand, gonna ground down, and then we'll sweep the left arm up. Sorry, excuse me. Piece of dust or something. Take a nice stretch. Really feel that from your left fingertips right down to your left ankle. then fully reach long. And then release, hips back to the earth. Draw the right knee up, keeping that bend. Cross it over if you like. We'll take a twist to the right, maybe just keeping cradling your knee there and put your arm. Pulling it in, feeling that in the hip, and a nice spinal twist at the same time. Or if you want a little more spinal twist, you can take your elbow outside of the right thigh, deepening your twist. Full breaths. Sometimes when we're compressing, we have a tendency to come into a shallow breath, just using the upper chest. Just allow the rib cage and the belly to expand as well. One more breath here. And we'll release, unwind, and make our way to tabletop. Take a moment, maybe to place a blanket under the knees or something the whole roll of your mat. That would be helpful. I'm not going to be here for too long, actually, but make yourself comfortable. So finding your position there on all fours with your wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Take some cat-cows, just moving with your breath, rounding, opening. You know what feels right. Often an inhale as you sink the belly down, raise the gaze and open the chest, and then an exhale as you round the spine. But that's not a rule that needs to be followed. Maybe just connect with your breath in whatever way feels good to you. And then any variation of this cat-cow is welcome. Explore a little bit. One more. And just come back, find that neutral spine. We're going to soften down to our belly. So let's take a moment in a supported plank first, modified plank. So walk the knees back, keep your wrists and your shoulders aligned, and just draw the belly in. Just check in with that area, your core, all the way around actually, your low back too, all of your core muscles, all the way around the waistband. So you can be quite active in our plank and our supported modified plank. Feel the body working. Breath. And then bend your elbows, just soften down, thighs, hips, belly, chest. Press up to a gentle back bend. So Sphinx might feel nicer. You might press hands underneath your shoulders, rising up a little bit. See what feels good. And then sometimes it feels like what we should be doing here is really compressing, more flexibility. So that's part of it, but really more about strength. So I like to, once I thought about this, it helps me a lot in this pose. So I may have said it before, maybe lots of times, but I try to think about pressing the hips into the mat and then raising the crown of the head. So thinking of your spine as being long. And of course, at work here, of course. Soften down when you're ready for a little break. And so a couple options here for this next one. You can use your hands, or you can come unsupported with your hands and rise up to another back bend. Hold it for 2 more breaths. After your next inhale, just lower down, soften down. Let's come back to child's pose. A nice counter pose to that. Taking the knees wide, hips back towards the heels. We're going to hold for a couple of breaths. Maybe arms are reaching forward. If you come up onto tented fingers, you might feel a nice opening through your shoulders. And then another breath, and we're going to thread the needle. So just a different version of thread the needle from child's pose. So with the right hand, just sneak that underneath your left armpit and left shoulder. Set your right shoulder down. Rest your right temple and cheek on the mat. Press a little bit into that right shoulder and your left hand. Let's reach right arm back long. Take a breath in child's, and then we'll thread the opposite way, left hand underneath the right shoulder. Set your shoulder down and just press into it a little bit. And if you press into the right palm at the same time as it's reaching above you on your mat, you might just, with your mind's eye, send breath to that space between the shoulder blades. Release, come back to child's. And breath here. And we're going to come forward back to our bellies. Just lower right down. Setting up here for half frog pose. So let's first settle our left ear down to the mat. Bend into your right elbow and then draw your right knee up towards your right elbow. Just lie here, breathe, soften. Take about 6 breaths. Prepare to release on this side. Lengthening your leg first, meet your left. Turning your head so right ear meets the mat. Bringing that left arm to cactus shape. Bending your left knee, bring it up a little closer to your elbow. And a nice big breath here. Find length in the left leg to meet the right. Your hands underneath your shoulders. You're going to come back to tabletop. Tuck the toes, downward dog, just for a few breaths here, connecting in movement or stillness. Raising the tailbone up, letting the head just be held by gravity. If your eyes are open, maybe you're looking back towards your feet. When you're ready to settle, if you're not already still, let's find a still downward dog. Just think about everything that's happening here, where this pose is benefiting you. Laying from tailbone to heels, as well as your tailbone up to your crown. Slowly, let's just make our way to the top of the mat. Little steps, as many as you need. Finding a forward fold, so maybe feet are about hip distance or more apart. Let the upper body just hang. Maybe tractioning a little bit by bending the elbows, taking opposite elbows, cupping them with opposite hands. Swaying if it feels good. And let's be still. Bring the hands beneath the shoulders and then find some length in the spine, flatten the back, look forward. Hands might be fingertips to the floor, hands to shins, palms to shins. Breathing out to fold. Try that again. Breathing in, lifting up, halfway. Breathing out, bow. And then let's rise up all the way to stand. Just gonna fly. Bring the palms to the heart, exhale. Take a little side bend here, reach high. And then if you want to encircle your left wrist with your right fingers, and let your hips to the left as you lean to the right. Your shoulders stacked, not leaning. And then come back up, switch to the other side, encircle the other wrist. Hips to the right, just pull a little bit on the arm, flex and right. Rising back up. And hands to the heart. A couple of half sun salutations. Breathe in, rise up. Exhale, dive forward. Find that halfway lift, lengthen, creating space as you breathe in. And fold, breathe out. Inhale, rise to stand. Tall mountain arms up. Exhale, palms to the heart. Sweep the arms high. Exhale, dive forward. Hands can be at the heart or wide. Halfway lengthen, breathe in. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rise. Arms high and then soften to the heart with the exhale. Down one more time. Posture, inhale, rise. Exhale, soften forward, lengthen the spine all the way down. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Here we're going to step back with our left foot. And if you have a couple of blocks handy, soften your back knee to the mat, grab your blocks. Place one under each hand. Find some length in the spine here as you open up your left hip flexor. So your blocks can be at any height. And we want to keep roughly that right knee over the right ankle. Take a nice deep stretch here with some full breaths. You can also tuck your toe if you want. Find it just as nice a stretch with the knee grounded, but you might walk your knee back a little bit just so you find the right degree. So coming to your edge where you can breathe, what you're feeling. Feeling a stretch. Breath in and release. Tuck the toes, left toes. Lift the left knee and then pivot here so we're facing along left edge of our mat. So we're in a wide-legged forward fold now. Take time to just adjust your stance in the position of your feet and then let your spine be nice and long. If it's useful to have blocks underneath your hands, go ahead and do that. You can also take, as you did in forward fold, at the top of your mat, you can take opposite elbows, find a little sway, or you might come even farther down. Explore a little bit here, whether you want to just hold and hang or sway a little bit or walk the hands right or left. Let's lengthen the arms. So press the palms into the mat beneath your shoulders. And then center your left palm just beneath your face. We'll twist to the right. So breathe in, raise that right arm up. Check in with the hips. We have a tendency to kind of move the hips as well. Try to keep them parallel to the mat. Release your right hand down. Just place it where your left hand was. Twist to the left. Raise your left arm high. Check in with the hips. Nice spinal twist. Release your left hand. And we'll just walk the hands back forward, coming back briefly into our low lunge. And we'll step back here either to a modified plank or to plank from the toes. The right foot's going to meet the left. You can soften to the knees if you want. Take a couple of breaths. Let's soften down. Take a back bend, pressing up. Cobra, Sphinx. Let's lower down. Tucking the toes, coming back either table or through tall plank to your downward dog. Just right. A breath in your downward dog. And then walk the feet forward, top of the mat. Take a breath in, halfway lift. Fully to breathe out. Rise to stand. Smile. Exhale, palms to the heart. Come back down to the other side. Breathe and reach up. Dive forward with your exhale. Halfway lengthen, breathe in. And on your exhale, plant the palms this time, stepping back, right foot. Soften the right knee down. Use your blocks if you like, just to help you lengthen the spine. Check the alignment, knee over ankle, and then just walk your right knee back as much as you need to feel a nice opening. Find your breath here. Maybe close your eyes and just gaze softly off the top of your mat. Last breath here. And just ground your hands to the earth. you have them on blocks, we'll pop up on those right toes, lifting the right knee, and then shifting so we're in our long edge of the mat, facing the long right edge of our mat this time, in our wide-legged forward fold. And this time, just again, read into what your body is asking for here. And then let's make our way over to the right. So walk your hands over towards that right foot, right ankle. Draw your torso a little closer to that right thigh. And to the left. And then we'll come back to center. From here, let's heel toe the feet a little closer together. We're setting up for our wide-legged squat, our yogic squat, Malasana. And you can take a block, settle your tailbone onto the block if you like, or sink your hips right down. Hands to prayer. You can also come to a seat and then take the soles of your feet together, coming into butterfly pose. So slowing things right down here, finding some grounding in this posture. Maybe the thumbs come to the sternum. You might feel your heart beating. It's the sound of your breath, the rhythm of your breathing. And we'll just soften down to a seat. Maybe face forward on your mat. So I'm not in that position now. But take a moment to find your bolster. We're going to come into a supported fish posture, and you might like to ramp your bolster up. So you could place a block underneath, and that one's for myself. I got my little baby one, but I'll get one. This is the idea. So you can ramp it up a little bit, or you could have it just lying flat, and you're just going to lower it right down. So you're going to bring that bolster right to your low back, and then just soften down. When you get there, you might bring the soles of your feet together. If it feels good, coming into a reclined butterfly with a nice chest opener. And if the bolster's too much, you can always just have a rolled up blanket. It's a nice soft version of supported fish. Often we do this with blocks. So if that's part of your practice and you prefer that, you can place one block under your head, one block under your upper mid back, sort of underneath your heart to open. Take some time to soften into the pose, release. This posture always feels so good. We are so often in the opposing kind of posture, driving, working at our desks, or just doing household work or yard work. So opening that chest, arms can be out from your shoulders. It could be down at your sides. They might be a little bit higher than your shoulders if you want a little bit more opening through the upper back. Time for a couple more nice full deep breaths here. And you might choose to stay here or a version of this posture for your Shavasana. Feel free. You're ready to come out and make your way into a different posture for your Shavasana, corpse pose maybe, or maybe supported in some way with blocks in other ways. When you're ready, you can now shift to your final resting posture. Closing down your eyes or just softening your gaze, allowing the palms of your hands to open to the sky. Just listen here to your own breath. Listen to your own heartbeat. It's time to slow down, pointing our practice where you get to welcome complete relaxation of the body. After working the body, it's nice to give it a few minutes to relax, just giving the body and the mind the opportunity to settle, finding that stillness, that peace within. Connecting to that energy, that peaceful, blissful energy. You can carry that hopefully off of the mat forward to the rest of our day, the rest of our week. So allowing the body to be heavy, letting go of tension or holding face, neck, shoulders, the arms, chest, pelvis, legs, feet. Just let it all go.
As you start to come back to an awareness of the energy around you, draw a little energy back into your own body. Just take a moment to thank yourself today just for cultivating this positive energy, for moving and breathing, for listening to your body, becoming more in tune and in touch with your body and your awareness. And some gentle movements. Feels right to you. Slowly awaken. Maybe you'd like to come to a seat to close your practice, or maybe you'd like to just rest where you are. That's fine too. We'll take a breath together to close our practice, reaching widely and drawing the palms to the heart. Taking a moment here just to go inward for some personal thoughts or reflections, anything that's going to serve you well, maybe recalling your intention. Grateful to have shared practice with all of you tonight. Thanks so much for being here. Much peace.